I love their logo. Just like, hey guys, my name is Anthony, and I am a new hair system user, and I'm here today to tell you about what to expect when you're diving into the deep waters of owning a hair system. And you start thinking to yourself, where should I begin? And I think the best place for me to begin is talking about how we got to where we are. And needless to say, I lost my hair. I used to look in the mirror once I had lost all my hair, and this is no joke, I would say, man, this is a tragedy. And I wouldn't sit there all depressed or anything. Who am I kidding? You lose your hair, you get a little depressed. But the truth is, I would look in the mirror every day and I'd be like, man, this is just a tragedy that I've lost all my hair, especially because, and maybe some of you guys out there can relate, I am a hair guy. I was always a hair guy. Everyone has their thing. They dress well. They're super buff. Whatever the case is, for me, I always had good hair. I was always known as the guy with good hair. And I stayed that way up until about I was 40 years old. And then all of a sudden, in the course of 2 years, it was gone. Now, as a guy that used Propecia, which is a medicine for people to avoid losing their hair, for a long time, I was using it since I was about 24 years old. And eventually I stopped because my wife and I want to have a baby. And you can still be on it and have babies and whatnot, but it was more of like a better safe than sorry thing. So I came off it a few years ago, and all of a sudden, out of nowhere, I started losing my hair. You know what? I didn't think it was ever going to happen to me because my dad lost his hair when he was like 28, 27 years old. There's pictures of him and my mom getting married. He was 30 at the time, and just no hair, completely gone. But I got to the point where I was 40 and I still had pretty much all my hair, and I was like, I avoided it. I am not gonna go bald like my dad. And like I said, within the course of 2 years, it was gone. My hair here on this side was basically like past the screen. It was so long and it was combed over. And what I would do is I would take, and if you've lost your hair, you're probably looking into this, hair fibers, okay? And I would get them hair fibers in there, the hair fibers, do the comb over it. And I was doing everything I could to hide it. But the problem with that thing is that, like, first of all, hair fibers, you're like black stuff everywhere. And because I didn't have any hair or very little of it on the top, there's no density to it. It was just like black scalp with a little bit of hair and a comb over trying to hide it. And overall, I feel like I did a good job, but it just really wasn't the same. And the thing that a lot of people talk about is hair transplants. And it's expensive. If you're doing it anywhere in North America, it can cost you anywhere from like $15,000 to $20,000. And could be worth it. Maybe, but the truth of the matter is A, it was too much money, and B, I don't really know what it's going to look like when it's all said and done, because really the hair in the back that they transplant and put on top, well, this hair it's a different texture than the hair on the top of your head. So is it exactly the same? I don't know. I know people have had good results with it, and that's fine, but I was a little worried about it. Plus, they say that even after you get a hair transplant, maybe you have to do it again one day. You have to go back on drugs, Rogaine, which is something I used for a while to no success, but like Rogaine, Propecia again, which is not something I want. I wanted to avoid the drugs, so hair transplant isn't what I wanted to do. I know a lot of people go to Turkey, and you'll save a lot of money going to Turkey. I mean, maybe you'll spend a quarter of what you would in North America, but then do you really know what you're getting? How regulated is it? All of a sudden, I started hearing about hair systems. Hair systems was something that I kind of got excited about right away because I realized how freaking amazing they looked. It's not something I even really knew existed. So my dad got a toupee when I was a kid. I remember he showed up one day. He was always bald, like I said. And he showed up to pick me up from my babysitter one day after school. And all of a sudden, he had hair on the top of his head, and he had shaved down his mustache. He had like a full-on mustache. He had shaved it down, and I was looking at a new person. And the whole toupee thing didn't last long. I mean, toupees back then, I guess this would have been the 90s. Not the same as hair systems today. And having had that experience with my dad, I was like, hair system? Toupee? Wig? Is that really a thing? But then I started doing the research, just like I did for the hair transplant. I was watching videos. We're talking hours and hours of people installing their hair pieces, their experiences with them, the different types, the colors, the way they're installed. Like, I mean, you can go into the weeds in this thing for a long time. That's exactly what I did, just like I did regarding hair transplant. And I thought, you know what? This is something I can get into. I might as well try. That is what got me this thing on my head right here. Now, I want to talk about the one that I have on me right now before we open a new one from Super Hair Pieces. But this is the first one I put on, and I've only been wearing it for about a month. So I am like totally new to this whole thing. And I want to talk about a couple of things you can expect when you first do it. So I didn't really know what color I should get. I didn't really know what density I should get, and I didn't really know what base I should get. But I like I said, did a lot of research, and I figured that a lace base was for me because I do play sports. I play sports 2 to 3 times a week where I sweat a lot, and I read that lace is far more breathable. So I decided to go with lace. Now, as far as the color goes, I was trying to match it as best I could with the hair on the sides and on the back, my bio hair, as the cool kids call it. It wasn't an easy choice, you know what I mean? Because there's so many options. That's the cool thing about about hair pieces is that you have so many options, and that's an amazing thing, but you also don't want to fall into decision paralysis, which is easy to do, and which is something I almost did. So this is off black. Generally, I've always considered myself as having brown hair or dark brown hair. So I didn't know if I should go with the darkest brown or with the off black. I ended up going with the off black because it looked like what most would match me. And when I first put it on my head, it was really dark. Like, so a lot of people thought like I had dyed my hair. So here's the cool part. They didn't know I was necessarily wearing a hair system or a hair piece, but they thought, hey, did you dye your hair? No, first of all, that speaks a lot about how realistic this stuff is. If they just thought I dyed my hair and they had no idea I was wearing a hairpiece, I mean, I'm going to take that as a win. But the thing is when you first put it on, you're going to be a little shocked. You're going to think to yourself, whoa, because you're used to not having hair. That's why you're using a hair system, because you don't have any hair. So I believe this one I'm wearing here is 105% density. And when you're someone that's over 40 like myself, realistically, I probably should have gone a little lower, but the thing is this is all a learning experience, and my next one will be a little lower. But regardless of that, you're going to look at yourself and be like, that is a lot of hair. And one second you're going to look in the mirror and you're going to be like, man, that looks good. That's looking good. And then the next minute you'll be like, wow, what did I just do to myself? But I can tell you that over time, over a month later, it's probably the best decision I've made in a long, long time. We're at the point now where it's shed a little bit, so it's not as dense. The color has blended in more to my bio hair, and I'm feeling really, really good about where this system is. Now, this system is supposed to last about 4 to 6 months. Like I said, we're a month in, and we're still flying. I've been using tape that I got from Super Hair Pieces to stick this thing on my head. And, you know, the whole process of installing it yourself is very much a learning curve as well. But like I said, watched as many videos as I possibly could to really understand the best way to put it on. And even as many videos as you watch, it's like anything else. You just have to get better and better at it. And now that I've done it, I'd say about 4 times, I'm far better at it than I was at first. And I can say, like, do not get discouraged, because you will get better and better. And fortunately, if you have someone that can help you, that's also useful. I have my wife to help me out, and that's awesome. But I've even been like, okay, no, I'm going to do it myself this time. And I have done it on my own, and it's worked out pretty well. So my suggestion there is you watch those videos, and as I get better on it, trust me, I will be back to give you my tips. It can seem daunting, but it's really not, and it gets easier and easier as you go.
Hey, if you're not comfortable installing or maintaining your own systems, please come see us at one of our 5 GTA locations, where we have professional stylists and affordable pricing.
Okay, so one day, 4 to 6 months from now, this hair system will be done. It'll be time to retire it for good. And who knows, being that it's my first hair system, maybe I'll frame it and put it up on the wall. Okay, I'm not going to do that. That said, it will hold a special place in my heart. As soon as I'm done with this one, I am going to be installing this beautiful hair system from superhairpieces.ca. Now, the reason I went with superhairpieces.ca was because their website is amazing. It's got everything on there. It's super easy to navigate. It's got all the products you need to install it, to keep it in fresh shape. It's really got everything. And also, the one thing I liked about it too is that they're based here in North America, which is awesome. And it was here from the time it was shipped to the day it was at my door. It was less than 2 days. And getting rid of all that stress, because you never know when you ship something from overseas directly to your house, like tariffs, FedEx, fees, who knows. Anyway, the delivery and order process was so freaking easy, and I was so happy about that. Came to my door, and this is what I got, this beautiful box. I went with the M115, and I actually went with the darkest brown. Because remember I mentioned earlier that I thought this one was too dark, so I thought I'd try a lighter color. And The cool thing about actually Super Hair Pieces compared to some other sites I was looking at was that they had the ash. So when I first installed this, my sister, who was brutally honest, looked at me and said, the color looks too dark. Your hair is usually more ashy. So I thought, okay. I actually got the darkest brown, and the ash will actually make it look a little darker. So I'm pretty confident that this color is going to be even better than this one. But the beautiful thing about hair systems is if it's not, next time I'll go back to this color. Nothing is set in stone when it comes to hair system. The color, the base, the density, the part, your hairstyle. You know, like usually like you style your hair a certain way and it's kind of stuck in that. With a hair system, you can just like kind of do anything. Anyway, so I'm going to open this up and look at this beautiful hair system from Super Hair Pieces. Indian Remy hair is super, super soft. It's still in its mesh sort of wrapping because I haven't taken it out yet, and I'm not going to take it out until I actually install it. And when I do, there's going to be a video, and it's going to be awesome. There is the plastic sort of shape holder on the inside. And if you'll notice, there's actually some videos on Super Hair Pieces and all across YouTube that people use this to create the template for their head, which is what I am going to do when the time comes. And I've watched a lot of videos on it, and I'm pretty excited. And you know what I can say about these things? Have fun with it. It is nothing to be embarrassed about. It is nothing to be ashamed about. To be honest, I think it ends up looking better than you probably did before. And your family, everyone that's close to you, they're all super supportive. Why would it be any other way? And the truth of the matter is like, why not have fun with it? It doesn't have to be something that you have to hide or be shameful about. This is my M115. This is actually a Swiss lace system. The one I'm wearing here is French lace, and I just wanted to try Swiss lace. I find nothing wrong with the French lace. In the future, I will probably try one that is Swiss lace at the front and then sort of just like a poly, I forget the term. Again, not an expert. Poly painting or whatever. I think they call it poly painting, where basically the area where you would be taping around the sides and the back is plastic to make the installation a little bit easier. And there is nothing wrong with making the installation a little easier. Trust me on that. So this one is, it's 90% at the front and 100% everywhere else. I'm very curious to see how this looks, and I'm actually super excited. Like I said, the ordering process, the delivery process from Super Hair Pieces has been amazing. Zero complaints there. Super easy. Took that stress away. Their YouTube page, which you should check out right now, which is probably where you're watching this video, is just chock full of content. They do live streams where people are answering live questions on YouTube. They have, every single topic regarding hair system videos on there. They have tips, tricks, and that's where I learned everything. And I installed this puppy by myself, feeling good, looking good. And again, I feel like this is one of the best decisions I have ever made. Now, you might notice I have some grays, and actually, I don't even know if you can see them. But the other cool thing is when you're deciding color is that you can add gray to it. Now, I was going to add gray, maybe like a little bit, but I was like, nah, I don't think I need gray yet. But one day it will come, and I will add gray to it. And the cool thing is you can do 5%, and the next one you can do 10, and like just graduate until it's like 50% gray, and I'm 70 years old still wearing a hairpiece, and hopefully as jacked up as the other gentleman that does all the videos on this channel when I'm that age. So that's it. That's all. It's been a pleasure chatting with you today, and there will be lots more video content coming from me about installation, about tips, even just fun videos about the funny things when it comes to owning a hair system. Like, there's nothing better when you're talking to somebody and it just happens to come up like a little later that you're wearing a hair system. They're like, what? I never would have known. And you're like, yes. It's honestly a great feeling. And if you're having doubts or just trying to decide if this is a route you want to go down, I highly, highly recommend it. Again, my name is Anthony, and I'll chat again with you guys soon. All right, where was I? First, I'm going to catch my breath because I was going up and down the stairs.